What's up, everyone? It's Sean from Platinum Window Tinting, and I've been away for a while, but I'm back. I've been really busy, so today I'm going to make a quick video on in-depth how to shrink the fingers on the outside of the glass before you cut the top and install the film. So let's get started. First off, let's talk about how we get the fingers like this on the tint so that we can shrink them. Many of my other videos explain how to cut out the film and how to install it, but I'm going to make a few videos on in-depth how to do certain things, like cut the sides, cut the top, and shrinking the fingers like this window is. Now after we've cut the sides, shifted the film if need be, and squeeged out the film, you will have the fingers facing up and down. The way to get the fingers like this is, as you're squeegeeing out the window, you can see this one's already squeegeed out, but as you squeegee out the window, you're going to squeegee across the top, and then you're going to go along the sides, pushing the film down. This will cause the film to kind of kink a little bit and give you the fingers to shrink so that when you install the film on the inside, you do not have to heat on the inside. Not saying you're not going to have to, because you may have a few fingers that pop up, but it'll avoid you having to shrink the fingers completely like this on the inside, especially if you're tucking the film behind a gasket. It'll be very hard to shrink the fingers with the film stuck behind a gasket, sucking up a lot of dirt. So this will avoid a lot of dirt being sucked up into the film as well. Alright, now the basic tools you're going to need, obviously the heat gun, any one that you prefer. I use the Wagner, as always you see in my videos. It has two settings, low and high. And I'm going to use a gold Bondo card. This is it's pretty soft, but it's hard at the same time. And I use this for all exterior shrinking, never on the inside because it will scratch the film. This is the clear layer, so it will not affect the installation. Alright, so we're going to start by shrinking the top of the largest finger. And as you can see, it starts to get squiggly. Now as it starts to get squiggly, as I say, you can push down on it and it'll stay exactly where it is. Now you don't want to go past this, you will crease the film. So now when it splits off like that U right there, you want to heat back and forth, and you want to heat those points equally as you push them out. As you can see, when we get to the bottom here, you'll have very small fingers here. Now you want to be careful when you're shrinking these fingers. You don't want to keep heat consistently on this gasket, especially on a Jetta or a Kia Optima. These gaskets, these rubber gaskets on the exterior, are very unfortunately prone to getting burnt by the heat. The heat gun will make this turn glossy, which the customer will notice, and you will get a complaint and possibly have to replace this piece, which it's not very cheap. So once you get close to here, you don't have to completely shrink the finger. You can move on to other fingers and allow that to cool down a little bit while you're shrinking the other fingers. Just a little tip here, as you are shrinking the film, you can see how the film, when I shifted the tint, there's a bunch up right here. You do not want to heat this. It's off of the glass, and if you heat it, it will scrunch up, and it'll be very annoying when you install the film, because it will be popped off of the window right here, and you'll have to do a lot of heating and work with the pink card to get that to lay down. So now once we have all the fingers basically shrunk, and you didn't shrink them completely, you can go over them now and make sure all the film is flat on the glass. Now, as you can see, as I'm pushing it, I'm pulling the heat gun away so that there isn't direct heat on it for too long. Another tip when shrinking fingers, hold the heat gun facing down, so you're pointing into the fingers. Instead of facing up, you have more chance of burning this gasket when you're going like this, and you're also not going to get the heat all the way down to the bottom of the finger. The proper way to lay this film out, which I didn't go over in the beginning, is to, when you cut the back, shift it back a little bit, mount the film down. When you mount the film down, make sure you have a little hairline gap on the bottom of the film, which allows you to shrink and for the water to dissipate through the bottom as you're shrinking the fingers. If you don't do that, it's just going to bunch up. You're going to suck up a lot of dirt. If it's an older car, there's going to be dirt in the water, and if you don't leave that hairline gap, as you push the fingers out when you're shrinking them, water is going to suck up with the dirt, and the chances are when you go over again with that hard card, you're going to hit a piece of sand and rip the film. So always leave that little gap on the bottom. It's very, very small gap. You don't want to leave a big gap, because then when you install the film, you're going to have a gap. If you leave a hairline gap when you install the film, and the top edge, when you're laying the film on the inside, you're going to have a little gap obviously on the top of the window. The film doesn't go all the way to the top. You want to get it as close as you can, obviously, but when you have the gap on the top, it will bring the film down a little bit and compensate for the gap that you made on the bottom to shrink. Okay, you're only going to typically shrink the window tint on the outside of the glass if you're not removing the door panel. Many people have seen all the videos that I make. I usually remove the door panel because I like to show you guys the easiest way to do it. Not the easiest, but the cleanest way to do it, because if you remove the door panel, you're not laying the film on gaskets. You have a big open area to drop the film in, and many other people comment on my videos saying that it's the wrong way to do it, it'll take long. They're right, it is going to take long. If you remove the door panels, you obviously have to know what you're doing to not damage the car, and it's going to take more time. If you're not removing the door panels, which I recommend once you become more experienced in window tinting, you're going to leave a hairline gap on the bottom, shift the window, and you're able to shrink the fingers on the outside, laying the film on the inside without any fingers popping up. Popping up fingers do suck up the water from the inside, and any water that's inside, if it's an older car, it's going to suck up dirt into the film, and you're going to have a dirt line in the film. So go with shrinking the tint on the outside of the glass. Be careful not to melt the gaskets. Any questions you guys have, feel free to comment. Thanks.